What's up, Taiwan? Good morning. I'm Erika Liu with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Many countries around the world appear to be experiencing extremely hot weather, and Taiwan is no exception. The Weather Bureau says parts of the country may see scorching temperatures continue into Tuesday and then drop 1 or 2 degrees as the week goes on. July is the hottest month in Taiwan. 2 years ago, the Taipei Observatory recorded a record high of 39.7 degrees Celsius. But luckily, this year's temperature predictions are slightly lower.
那特别是大台北、还有花莲、纵谷以及台东地区，可能会有极端高温发生的这个可能性。那大台北地区还有花莲、纵谷可能会有37甚至到38度左右的这个极端高温。
On the other side of the Taiwan Strait, China is also sweltering in a heat wave that is expected to continue until mid-August. Meteorologists say in the next few weeks, the mercury will rise above 40 degrees Celsius in parts of Shanxi province in the northwest and Zhejiang in the east. Last week, Shanghai recorded its highest temperature since 1973 at 40.9 degrees. But the hottest temperature recorded in the heat wave so far has been in the Hebei province, coming in at 44.2 degrees Celsius. Over in Europe, a heat wave stretching across the region has led to hundreds of deaths and thousands of people displaced. Ryan Hill-Kilpatrick has this report.
Firefighters are battling to control huge wildfires tearing across Europe. In France, Spain, Portugal, and Greece, thousands of people have been evacuated from their homes to escape the encroaching inferno. As Europe swelters, the blazing temperatures have already killed 659 in Portugal and 360 in Spain, according to health authorities. With the mercury expected to hit close to 50 degrees in Portugal, the government is warning its people to adapt to this deadly new normal.
Heat waves will become more and more frequent, and we do need to prepare not only in terms of the way we do policies, but also the way we teach people how to deal with this kind of events.
And it's not just the Mediterranean that's on high alert. In Britain, authorities issued their first ever red warning for extreme heat, declaring the rising temperatures a national emergency. Forecasters predict the country will soon experience a record-breaking 41 degrees.
Climate change is making these extreme weather events, such as heat waves and wildfires and droughts, both more frequent and more intense, which is harming people, but also harming nature. And we need to make sure that we're listening to those warning signs and acting now.
The signals are clear, but for the hundreds perishing in the heat and the thousands displaced, action to prevent the dangers of climate change is already long overdue. Ryan Hill-Kilpatrick for TaiwanPlus.
Well, the rise in temperatures is affecting even the coldest place on Earth, Antarctica. The effects of climate change on the continent is threatening the unique wildlife there. Experts say its native emperor penguin is at risk of extinction by 2060. Our reporter Sandy Chi finds out why.
The Antarctic Peninsula is among the fastest warming regions of the planet, and these regal birds could pay the price. In just a few decades, the world's largest penguin species could no longer be wandering these icy plains. The emperor penguins are being threatened by climate change, with their Antarctic home melting at a rapid rate.
Las proyecciones que hay prevén que las colonias que están ubicadas entre la latitud de 60 y 70 grados desaparecerían en los próximos decenios. Digamos, en los próximos 30, 40 años.
The penguin's reproductive cycle is tied to sea ice. They are the only penguin species that breed during the Antarctic winter. They need a solid, thick ice shelf during their mating season, from April to December. Instead of building nests, they use their feet and brood patches to protect their eggs.
Desestabilizarse esa plataforma de hielo, los pingüinos chiquitos, los que están creciendo, los pichones de esa temporada, pueden no estar emplumados, no estar preparados para ir al mar, se les desarma el piso sobre el cual están ellos apoyados, la colonia está desarrollándose, y si el agua, digamos, los alcanza, no están preparados para nadar, no tienen el plumaje impermeable, que son las plumas definitivas de adulto, y se mueren de frío y se ahogan.
The World Wildlife Foundation has called for the birds to be listed as specially protected species. They say the iconic animals are particularly vulnerable to climate change, habitat loss, and human disturbance. For this baby penguin to grow up and breed, it will take around 150 days. And scientists fear most may not make it.
que es lo que pasó en una colonia especialmente en el Weddell, en el mar de Weddell, la colonia Halley de pingüino emperador. Durante casi 3 años seguidos tuvo un éxito reproductivo casi cero porque se desarmaba el pack marino antes de tiempo y se morían todos los pichones.
Currently, there are only around 600,000 adult emperor penguins in Antarctica. They are a vital part of the Antarctic food chain. They eat smaller creatures like squid and fish, and they themselves are an important source of food for predators like leopard seals and sharks. So, their departure from this icy landscape could set off a devastating chain reaction on the whole Antarctic ecosystem, which in turn could affect the entire planet. Paipayu Sanichi for TaiwanPlus.
Here in Taiwan, summer vacation is in full swing. As the country's borders are still closed to overseas tourists, the government is offering financial incentives to boost domestic travel. And it's working. Big crowds were seen over the weekend at some of Taiwan's hottest destinations. Erika Liu takes us there.
Taiwan's summer travel season is heating up. Aside from the usual holiday makers, government subsidies boosting domestic tourism have just kicked off. Individual travelers can get up to $40 per person, while larger tour groups can get up to $1,000 to spend on their holiday. Almost $140 million are on offer under this program. Thanks to these incentives, in Kending, already one of the country's hottest tourist spots, business is booming.
蛮吓人的，人潮是蛮多的，人潮比较多。大概多少？大概差不多5成以上。
It's a similar story on the offshore island of Xiaoliuqiu. There were so many people there that hungry travelers had to line up for over an hour at a famous 30-year-old breakfast shop known for its local specialty items. And hotels are almost fully booked.
客蛮多。假日的话，平日也都有到8、9成跑不掉。
Crowds had been thin during the COVID-19 pandemic, but with the pandemic situation stabilizing and these new incentives, Taiwan's tourism sector is getting a much-needed shot in the arm. Klein Wong and Eric Liu for TaiwanPlus.
You should know by now that it's hot outdoors, and for kayakers, there's no better way of cooling down than by hitting the water. But in Taiwan's eastern Yilan County, there's a special way to try this pastime on an irrigation canal. Louis Watt has the story.
This is paddy paddling. Kayakers set out along these rice fields in Dongshan Township, eastern Taiwan. They're in a shallow canal that irrigates the rice fields and tests kayakers' flexibility. They have to negotiate the low walkways used by farmers to get to their crops. It may be challenging, but enjoyable for all ages. The township launched paddy paddling to attract tourists.
来回刚好是800公尺，它的水深90公分，平均，因为旁边有一条道路跟它一起这样弯来弯去，所以它很安全。
Views of rice fields and a cool breeze. For these kayakers, there's no better way of enjoying summer on a hot day. Patrick Chen and Louise Watt for TaiwanPlus.
The National Palace Museum's southern branch lit up the night sky in Taiwan's Jiayi County with an antiques-inspired drone show. A total of 500 drones came together to form shapes of items from the museum's collection, including patterns on old vases and a jade plate. They also formed the Chinese characters meaning safe and sound in the style of a famous calligrapher. The show will have 2 more runs in August before featuring in National Day celebrations in October. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally today, we leave you with images of a 12-year-old Yemeni drummer who is part of a folklore group that performs the traditional Barat dance at weddings. I'm Erika Liu. Take care and see you next time.
In a changing world, no compromise, no boundaries,
people in Taiwan.
no fear.
I want to study Chinese. I'm Ryan Kilpatrick.
TaiwanPlus News.